So like, who's someone that you had a perception in your head that might be negative that you met and then they completely proved you wrong?
I think NBA YoungBoy.
That was 6ix9ine letting loose in a wild new interview. And he just exposed NBA YoungBoy in a way nobody expected. Fans are stunned because after years of quiet tension, 6ix9ine finally dropped the truth about their behind-the-scenes connection, and what he said changed everything. People can't stop talking about it. This wasn't some random internet beef or a publicity stunt. It was straight-up shocking honesty. The truth about NBA YoungBoy just flipped the whole industry upside down. Tekashi 69 sat down on the Fresh and Fit podcast, and instead of his usual trolling, he got real. And his confession about YoungBoy had everyone's jaws on the floor. He didn't just talk trash, he pulled back the curtain on a story that completely challenges how fans see YoungBoy. Over 261,000 people have already watched the viral clip, and the internet can't decide if Tekashi's being real or stirring the pot again.
Who's someone that you had a perception in your head that might be negative that you met and then they completely proved you wrong?
I think NBA YoungBoy.
Okay.
So I thought NBA YoungBoy, like, you know, they had a, like, want to be down, like, how I say, like, I met him at a basketball game, but this is before cooperation.
Okay, what year? Oh, this is like 2018-ish? Like,
he took things way back to 2018, jokingly calling it EC before cooperation, hinting at the time before he testified in federal court. That little joke alone had the host cracking up, but what came next had the room frozen. Back then, both 6ix9ine and NBA YoungBoy were blowing up fast. Tekashi with his rainbow hair, chaotic feuds, and wild personality. And YoungBoy coming out of Baton Rouge with raw emotion, street pain, and a massive following that grew overnight. Their paths were different, but their rise was almost parallel. And that's exactly where the tension started. But the part that really caught everyone off guard, when the host asked Tekashi a simple question, who's someone you thought was fake or negative, but turned out completely different once you met them? 6ix9ine didn't even hesitate. He leaned back, smirked, and dropped the name nobody expected. NBA YoungBoy. The room went silent for a second before everyone realized what he just said. That single moment flipped the vibe entirely. Tekashi hinted that behind YoungBoy's tough image, there's something people don't see. A side that's way more real and grounded than most rappers out there.
I'm by myself.
Oh,
He said it. I got it right here. You want to see it? So he's like, yo, I walked with 6ix9ine. He mad cool. He came up to me by himself.
and this is in New York City?
No, it was in LA.
LA, okay.
I'm gonna see. I saved it, but NBA YoungBoy, he's pretty down to earth.
Fans online are already dissecting every second of that clip, trying to figure out if this is 6ix9ine extending an olive branch or setting up another shocking twist. Whatever it is, this revelation hit the rap world like a bombshell. And it's clear, this story's just getting started. The whole encounter went down at a packed basketball game in Los Angeles, and the energy in that arena was electric. But what made the moment unforgettable was how different these two rappers really are. Complete opposites in every possible way. On one side, you've got 6ix9ine, the king of chaos, flashy, loud, and always hunting for attention. On the other, NBA YoungBoy, the quiet storm of the rap game, raw emotion, pain in his lyrics, but never desperate for the spotlight. Seeing those two in the same place already had fans whispering, wondering if things were about to explode right there courtside. 6ix9ine's whole image has always been built on drama and noise. Rainbow hair, wild feuds, non-stop trolling, and viral headlines that follow him like a shadow. But YoungBoy, he's a completely different breed. Mysterious, private, and focused on the music more than the fame. Despite pulling in crazy streaming numbers, he rarely steps out for public events, so catching him courtside in LA was already rare. Everyone expected tension, but nobody expected what actually happened next. 6ix9ine admitted he had a whole idea in his head about how that meeting would go down. He figured YoungBoy would show up surrounded by a heavy crew, ready to flex that Baton Rouge street energy. But the moment caught him completely off guard, and because instead of rolling in deep, YoungBoy walked up alone. No security, no entourage, no fake energy, just him. face to face with 6ix9ine in the middle of Los Angeles. Tekashi described how surreal it felt. He said he approached first ready for anything, but YoungBoy's calm energy threw him off instantly. The man he thought would be standoffish or hostile was surprisingly cool and collected, showing none of the aggression people attached to his name. That one meeting completely flipped 6ix9ine's perspective. And honestly, it shocked everyone who thought these two could never even share the same space without chaos. 6ix9ine straight up admitted he was genuinely shocked by how down-to-earth NBA YoungBoy really was. He didn't sugarcoat it. He said meeting YoungBoy face-to-face completely flipped his expectations. And that says a lot coming from someone like 6ix9ine, who's seen and dealt with some of the most intense, real, and dangerous figures in the game.
I think just misunderstood, bro. I think people just misunderstand his music. It's real.
Yeah, people think he's like reckless and violent. I mean,
Nah, he's not. He's actually
not?
he only people who
This man has moved through street politics, survived major feuds, and even stood toe-to-toe with people most rappers wouldn't dare mention by name. So when he says someone surprised him with their calm and humility, you know it's real. For a guy who's lived through high-stakes situations, constant threats, and public betrayals, 6ix9ine expressing respect for YoungBoy's grounded vibe hits differently. It's almost ironic. The one rapper many see as wild and reckless turned out to be one of the most level-headed dudes in the room. Tekashi said it didn't feel like talking to a celebrity. It felt like talking to a real person. No ego, no fake energy, just a man being himself. That authenticity caught him completely off guard. But Tekashi didn't stop there. He dug deeper, breaking down why he thinks the world has such a twisted image of YoungBoy. He explained that people only see the headlines, the arrests, the court cases, the angry lyrics, but never the full story behind the man. 6ix9ine said that the media paints YoungBoy like a ticking time bomb, but behind that music and tough image is someone who's thoughtful, respectful, and more private than people realize. That insight hit the internet like wildfire because if anyone understands how fast public opinion can turn, it's Tekashi himself. And coming from him, this take carried some serious weight. 6ix9ine opened up further, saying he truly believes NBA YoungBoy is one of the most misunderstood artists in the entire rap game. He said people listen to YoungBoy's lyrics about pain, violence, and street life, and instantly label him as some wild, unpredictable guy always looking for a fight. But according to Tekashi, that couldn't be more wrong. He made it clear that YoungBoy's music comes from a real place. Deep emotions, trauma, and personal experiences that most people can't even imagine. It's not about chaos, it's about survival, loyalty, and honesty. Tekashi broke it down in a way that surprised everyone. He said YoungBoy isn't reckless or aggressive just for the sake of it. Instead, he moves with principle. Everything he does is built on loyalty and reciprocity. If you show him respect, he gives it back. If you come with bad energy, he simply matches it. That's not hostility, that's code. The same street logic that both of them were raised on. 6ix9ine even said, it's not about trying to act tough, it's about standing on something real. That one line had fans replaying the clip over and over again. He emphasized that YoungBoy doesn't start problems, he just doesn't let disrespect slide. It's that simple. In Tekashi's eyes, that mindset doesn't make YoungBoy a menace. It makes him disciplined in a world full of fake love and betrayal. He respects people who come correct, and he protects his circle with the same intensity he puts into his music. What made it even more powerful was the story Tekashi shared next. He said there was a moment when someone passed along a message from him to YoungBoy, expressing that he genuinely appreciated the way YoungBoy carried himself. And guess what? YoungBoy didn't ignore it, didn't brush it off. He responded with real respect.
6ix9ine was going to tell me to tell you he love you. He say really yo. Man, Shorty a real nigga. Shorty just seen me and greeted me.
No ego, no shade, just a simple acknowledgement that spoke volumes about his character. That quiet, respectful exchange showed Tekashi something he didn't expect. That behind the viral headlines and rough exterior, YoungBoy is guided by values that most people overlook. The way he handles loyalty, boundaries, and energy is what truly separates him from the rest. And 6ix9ine made sure people finally understood that. What really made this whole story hit different was how real and authentic the interaction between 6ix9ine and NBA YoungBoy felt, something that's rare in the music industry. Tekashi pointed out a major truth about how fake the game can be, saying that most relationships in this business are built on fear, not genuine respect. He said that both he and YoungBoy deal with the same issue. People are too scared to approach them. Instead of seeing them as human beings, they see the image, the reputation, the chaos, and instantly assume danger. 6ix9ine explained that people act like he and YoungBoy are untouchable or unpredictable, when in reality, they're actually some of the coolest, chillest people you could ever meet, as long as you come correct. He laughed while saying that fear ruins potential connections before they even happen. Folks see the tattoos, the mug shots, the viral headlines, and decide to keep their distance, without realizing that behind all that noise, there are two real individuals just living their lives. He also admitted that this kind of misunderstanding runs deep, especially in the entertainment world where perception is everything. People see a story online and think they know us, Tekashi said. But they don't know the person. They just know the drama. That one statement hit fans hard because it exposed the truth about how audiences consume controversy without ever looking past the headlines. What made his comments even more powerful was the fact that NBA YoungBoy had dissed 6ix9ine in songs before. There's history there. Little shots thrown back and forth. Typical rap energy. Yet Tekashi didn't take the bait this time. Instead of clapping back or playing victim, he went on that podcast and spoke with straight positivity and maturity. That shift showed major growth. It proved he's starting to see the difference between entertainment and real life. For once, Tekashi wasn't trolling or looking for smoke. He was giving credit where it was due. And that attitude shocked fans who never expected him to show love to someone who once called him out. The reaction on social media came quick. Timelines on X, formerly Twitter, blew up with fans debating his motives. Many people agreed with his take, calling YoungBoy a chill, real dude, and praising 6ix9ine for finally showing respect. But of course, not everyone bought it. One user joked, 69 saw Thug snitch and said, "I can revive my career," sparking laughter and speculation online. Still, even with the mixed reactions, the overall tone leaned surprisingly positive. For the first time in a while, Tekashi's comments weren't dividing the internet. They were humanizing someone who's often misunderstood. And that in itself says more about both men's growth than any diss track ever could. These wild reactions just prove how complicated public perception can really be. Some fans instantly embraced 6ix9ine's take, seeing it as a genuine moment of truth that finally showed a softer, more human side of NBA YoungBoy. But others, they weren't so quick to believe it. They questioned Tekashi's motives, wondering if this was a clever PR move or a way to align himself with one of rap's most streamed artists. That split reaction turned the internet into a full-blown debate. Is 6ix9ine being real or just playing the game again? As clips from the Fresh and Fit interview spread across social media, the media started running with it too. Headlines popped up saying, 6ix9ine exposes the real NBA YoungBoy, and 6ix9ine reveals YoungBoy's true nature, showing him in a completely different light. Instead of the usual mugshots and chaos, this time the focus was on YoungBoy's humility and calm energy. The exact opposite of the reckless image people are used to seeing. It was almost surreal watching major outlets flip the script like that. And here's the thing, this wasn't even the first time Tekashi had spoken positively about YoungBoy.
But wait, we some of the coolest niggas you can meet. That nigga see me and greeted me though, and kept it going. Real nigga. Yeah, man.
Fans who've been paying attention know that there's been tension, yes, but also an undercurrent of mutual curiosity between them for years. Remember that rumored FaceTime call? The one where people speculated they were talking about a possible collaboration? It showed that even with their totally different lanes, Tekashi's wild showmanship and YoungBoy's emotional rawness, there's been a quiet respect lingering beneath the surface. Now, with 6ix9ine's words out in the open, something interesting is happening. His endorsement is actually strengthening YoungBoy's public image. Coming from a figure as controversial as Tekashi, that kind of praise hits harder than any journalist article ever could. It paints YoungBoy not just as a rapper with street credibility, but as a real person, grounded, loyal, and emotionally aware. These are the same qualities that his die-hard fans have been defending him for all along, and hearing them confirmed by someone who's lived in chaos makes it even more powerful. It's wild to think that in a genre often fueled by beef and competition, this moment of mutual respect might be what reshapes how people view both men. Tekashi's honesty cracked open a layer of truth that fans rarely see, showing that under the flashy chains and criminal headlines, there's real humanity there. The 2025 Make America Slime Again MASSA Tour has officially gone down as one of the wildest, most chaotic events hip-hop has seen in years. It wasn't just a concert series. It was madness. A full-blown cultural explosion that blurred every line between performance, passion, and pure hysteria. The energy was unreal from day one, starting in September 2025, right after NBA YoungBoy's shocking release from federal prison and that jaw-dropping presidential pardon. The entire movement turned into something way bigger than music. Fans weren't just showing up, they were showing out. From the very first stop, it was obvious this wasn't your average tour. This was a phenomenon. YoungBoy mania. Every city looked like a scene out of a documentary about cultural revolutions. The anticipation, the chaos, the screams, it all felt like history in motion. People described it as being more than just hip-hop. It was spiritual, like witnessing the return of someone larger than life. Then came October 20th, 2025, the night everything reached absolute mayhem in New Orleans at the Smoothie King Center. The show sold out in minutes, and the scene outside, total chaos. Fans who couldn't get tickets refused to go home. They swarmed the entrances, jumped barriers, and even tried to rush security gates just for a chance to hear YoungBoy's voice echo through the arena walls. This wasn't just excitement. It was a full-scale frenzy. Security and local police had to call in emergency reinforcements to stop the crowd from breaking through. Officers compared the situation to riot conditions, saying it felt more like crisis management than crowd control. You had helicopters flying overhead, police barricades stretching across blocks, and paramedics on standby, all for a rap concert. That's how serious it got. And when the performance finally ended, things didn't calm down. They got even crazier.
An update. NBA YoungBoy, he's housed at Talladega. That's in Alabama. He been standing on business. So for y'all who want to know what's going on with NBA YoungBoy, he been standing on business. He went to the hole. They found a cell phone in his cell and sell it to Charlie. He's short to come home. So he got out 2 days ago. He's in the hole now. It was a guy from Mississippi. He yelled out, OTF.
Viral videos flooded social media, showing massive mobs of fans flooding the French Quarter, chanting YoungBoy's name like it was a national anthem. People were crying, shaking, climbing on cars. It was absolute insanity. Reports said the energy was so intense that police had to physically carry YoungBoy through the chaos to get him safely into his vehicle. That's right, carry him. Think about that level of devotion. Thousands of people packing the streets, knowing they might not even see him, yet refusing to leave because they just wanted to be near his presence. That's not just fandom anymore. That's worship-like energy. It's the kind of loyalty you can't fake or buy. It's built from years of emotional connection, struggle, and survival that YoungBoy's music represents for so many people. Significant. When people talk about the tour's potential to break records, they're not exaggerating. Analysts estimate that between ticket sales, merchandise, and streaming spikes surrounding each concert date, the MASSA tour could easily surpass 9 figures in total revenue. But beyond the numbers, what's truly remarkable is the sociological impact. This isn't just about one artist performing songs. It's about an entire generation finding a voice through someone who's been criminalized, censored, and written off by mainstream media, yet still commands absolute loyalty from millions. In many ways, YoungBoy has become the blueprint for the new era of independent celebrity, one that thrives outside of traditional media ecosystems and defies every rule of the old music industry. The Chicago stop quickly became the most talked about event of the entire tour before it even happened. Social media platforms were flooded with speculation, threats, and warnings from local figures. For weeks, nobody knew if the concert would move forward or be quietly canceled behind the scenes. Local law enforcement sources reportedly held internal meetings to evaluate the potential risk factors, labeling it a high alert event with possible gang-related implications. When YoungBoy finally arrived in Illinois, the atmosphere felt less like a concert and more like a standoff. Helicopters hovered above the venue, armored vehicles were stationed nearby, and officers in tactical gear were positioned at every exit. The message was clear. This wasn't just about music anymore. This was about power, identity, and defiance. The YB effect has become more than just a fandom phenomenon. It's a case study in how influence operates in the post-industry era. What's happening at these shows isn't just fan enthusiasm. It's a mass expression of independence from traditional media control. When thousands of people scream every lyric from an artist who's been blacklisted by the very systems that once defined success, it sends a clear message. Power has shifted. Commentators have begun comparing YoungBoy's movement to early-era hip-hop, when artists built entire empires through raw street credibility and direct audience connection rather than corporate backing. The difference is that YoungBoy is doing it in real time with digital amplification that multiplies his reach exponentially. Every concert clip, every fan chant, every viral crowd moment becomes its own marketing campaign, powered entirely by the audience. What's unfolding before our eyes is more than a successful tour. It's a cultural correction. For years, industry gatekeepers, award committees, and streaming platforms decided who deserved the spotlight. But NBA YoungBoy's rise has completely rewritten those rules. His fans didn't wait for validation from the Grammys, Billboard, or Spotify playlists. They created their own ecosystem, one driven by loyalty, emotion, and raw relatability. This new wave of success has forced even the most traditional institutions to rethink what mainstream actually means. Industry insiders now quietly admit that ignoring YoungBoy is no longer sustainable. His numbers, influence, and sheer cultural presence have made him too big to sideline. He's the rare artist whose existence challenges the system, proving that viral authenticity can outlast corporate strategy. But perhaps the most striking part of this story is how his influence extends beyond music. Sociologists and pop culture analysts have begun studying the YB effect as a generational phenomenon, a movement that reflects the frustrations, resilience, and unfiltered self-expression of a generation raised online and ignored offline. For millions of young fans, YoungBoy isn't just an artist, he's a mirror. Someone who wears his pain, contradictions, and evolution in public without apology. Exactly. That's the incident Terrence "Gangster" Williams was referring to. According to multiple reports and first-hand accounts circulating online, NBA YoungBoy allegedly knocked out another inmate during his 2025 stint at FCY Talladega after being provoked by someone shouting gang-related taunts connected to Lil Durk's OTF crew. Here's how the story is typically described. Williams, who has long spoken about prison politics and street affiliations, claimed that an inmate from Mississippi tried to test YoungBoy's reputation by loudly throwing gang signs and shouting disrespectful references tied to his rivals. YoungBoy, who reportedly had been keeping a low profile up to that point, stood up, confronted the inmate directly, and the altercation turned physical almost immediately. Witnesses say the fight didn't last long. YoungBoy landed a clean shot that dropped the other man instantly, ending the confrontation before guards could intervene. According to Williams, this wasn't about showing off or proving toughness. It was about respect. The same principle that 6ix9ine talked about earlier. Inside prison walls, words and affiliations carry real consequences, and backing down from a direct challenge can be seen as weakness. YoungBoy's reaction, while violent, reflected how deeply the street code is ingrained in his identity, even behind bars. He shared his own struggles with codeine addiction, explaining that even facing serious prison time wasn't enough to make him stop using, because addiction operates beyond rational decision-making. Drew Finling, YoungBoy's attorney known as the billion-dollar lawyer, managed to consolidate these multiple cases and negotiate a deal that resulted in only 23 months of prison time, an outcome that shocked many observers who expected him to face far longer sentences. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives and updates like this one.